Hi, it's Robert Petito from WAMS Tech, and today I'm going to show you how you can track your children's or your students' iPad app usage by looking at the battery menu within the Settings app. Let's take a look. So here I'm going to open up Settings. And if you have a personal device, a personal iPhone, personal iPad that your children have, and you want to restrict them from being able to do things, or at least have a passcode and set app limits and get reports and all that, use the screen time setting here in menu. Here is where you can set a parental passcode and you can get weekly reports. You can set downtime and app usage so you know exactly what your children are going to have access to and how often they'll be able to access those things. Unfortunately, this is unavailable at Woodward Academy because we have already pushed out our own restrictions to the student iPads, and you can't have both our restrictions and screen time happening at the same time. I've already contacted Apple about this. Hopefully they'll make a change within the next iOS update. But until then, if you need to see what's happening on their iPad, what apps are being used and when, take a look at this feature. If you scroll down just a little bit farther and go to the battery setting, you can see their iPad activity usage over the last 24 hours or over the last 10 days. You're presented with two different graphs. The first graph is the battery level, and the second is the iPad activity. And you can see that the times here directly impact one another. So whatever I was doing between 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock today is what caused this 25% dip in my battery level. This green bar here that you see, that's when the iPad was being charged. So if you wanted to verify that the iPad is charging, or if your children say, I charged it all last night, and it clearly didn't, they never even plugged it in because there's no green bar here, well, then you know they're lying, right? Now, if you want to see what caused this 25% dip in the battery, you can check on the activity that was used in that time by tapping on any of those bars in the bar graph. So let's see. If I want to see what was happening between 11 and 12, and I can verify my times here, after tapping this bar, you can see it gets focused, that my battery usage by app is now between 11 and 12. I can see that the screen was on for 1 hour of this 1 hour range. And within that hour, Power School Learning was being used 43% of the time, followed by, I was in the Settings app doing some stuff, followed by the Study app, my note-taking app, and so forth. I also see that 3% of my time was just kind of hanging out on the home screen, and I was also using these other kind of art apps 2% of that time within that 1 hour. And again, you can tap on any of these over the past 24 hours to see the children's iPad app usage within that 24-hour time frame. You can also see over the last 10 days. So if you wanted to figure out what Johnny was doing on Wednesday, all you have to do is tap on Wednesday of last week, and you can see that his screen was on for 2 hours and 45 minutes on that given day. And of those 2 hours and 45 minutes, he was using Safari 38% of the time, followed by this web filter app 51% of the time. He was hanging out on the home screen doing nothing for 11% of the time, and he wasn't taking any notes, or he wasn't in Power School at all. So what was he doing on Wednesday? Clearly not schoolwork, right? Now, some other ways you can use this, right? If I go to my last 24 hours, the times that we're really taking a look at here are obviously between the hours of 7 a.m. and 4 p.m., the typical school day. Between 8 a.m. and roughly 9 a.m., that's when homeroom, and that's when before school and homeroom is. So if you want to see what apps they're doing during homeroom, as well as between 3 and 4, which is homeroom, study hall, and tutorial, if you feel that they should be studying and they should be within Power School Learning or taking a look at their notes or so forth, and you come here and you see they're just drawing for an hour, right? Then you know they're not doing their study and they're just kind of goofing off in their iPad. And that's a good conversation that you can have then with your children, as well as a partnership with your homeroom teacher and me to set some more restrictions and some more supervision on that specific iPad for that specific student. Now, if you have any questions at all about how to read this or how we can partner together, feel free to email me at robert.petito@woodward.edu. And as always, thanks for watching.